Drinking buddies, we're going to have some interesting winter pours, maybe along the lines of things you might want to have for New Year's. Let's go.
I'm your drinking buddy.
All right, drinking buddies. So I have 3 interesting glasses here. I don't know how available these are, so these might not even be things you can get. I think you probably can get this barrel bourbon New Year 2024 release. That's in this glass. In this glass, I have the Stranahan Snowflake single malt. I have no idea how limited that is. And then here I have a really interesting one. This is the Magi. So this is going to be 26-year-old Canadian whiskey that they finished in Kentucky Brunch brand stout barrels from Toppling Goliath. It's 133 proof. So we got some really interesting stuff here. Like I said, I have no idea how limited these 2 are, but since this one's called the Magi, I think it just fits for being and the imagery on the bottle is very, Christmassy. So I think this one just fits for a winter pour. And then the Snowflake, it's called Snowflake. And then the New Year. So let's give them a quick review. Rapid fire, if you will. I'm going this one first because I think this is the most normal thing up here. This is a really wild single malt, and this is a really wild Canadian whiskey finished in beer barrels. I do really like the nose on this one. It's very fruit forward, and I get like a strawberry thing on this one that I don't get off of bourbon often. I really do enjoy this nose, as well as brown sugar, bourbon, vanilla, classic stuff. It's spicy, it's sweet, it's loaded with flavor, long finish, great mouthfeel. I think this is a winner. I think this is better than last year's, and I liked last year's. It is a blend of 8-year Kentucky, 11-year Wyoming, 5-year New York, 8 and 15-year Tennessee, 5, 6, and 9-year-old Indiana, 5-year-old Texas, 5-year-old Ohio, and 5 and 6-year-old Maryland. So those Wyoming and Texas things that might be a little funky, those other more, bourbon belt area type stuff are helping round that out and giving us a really well-balanced bourbon. That is one I will recommend. Next up, we have the Snowflake from Stranahan's. And I think the idea is that no 2 snowflakes is alike. And so each year they do this special release, and it's different every year. You guys know I like American single malts, and you guys know I like Stranahan. So let's see what we think of this. Oh, I guess I'm not giving any nosing notes. Let's do that first. There's a little bit of a malty thing. Honey. I have a weird note. Like freshly cooked rice. Might be out of my mind. Okay, that's really interesting. It's got a really nice syrupy viscosity, a little bit more syrupy than the first one, a little bit of a smoky thing. So there is some sort of smoked something in here, but really, I think this is a great winter pour. This is really drinking like something I would want to enjoy on a cold winter's day where it's a little bit smoky. So it kind of reminded me of sitting by a fire. It's syrupy, so it hits the spot on, when it's cold out. I love the thicker the whiskey, the better in the winter. Yeah, and the smoke here is more like sitting near a campfire, or, I think there's some smoke on here. I'm getting smoke on here. Anyway, the smoke on here is more like sitting close to a campfire, or like barbecue notes rather than, Band-Aids and iodine that you might get off of a peated scotch. And this one I have had before, and I remember it being absolutely wild. It smells, I gotta be honest, it smells so bad. It smells so bad. The nose on this is like, it smells like you're about to go in for like the youngest whiskey you've ever tasted, because it's so grain forward. And I think that's coming off of the beer. So the nose to me is kind of like flat beer and young grains and maple syrup. But on the palate, the palate is just so unique and wild that it is one that I enjoy. I've only ever had this one other time. I split this sample between this and the last time I had it, and it is a wild roller coaster of flavor, really long finish. It doesn't drink nearly as hot as you think it would on the initial palate, and then when you swallow, you really get hit with some proof. Not in a bad way. I'm not saying it's too proofy, but it has a lot of proof on it. Yeah, it does have a grain forward thing that I don't love, but it's, you know, complemented by so many other flavors that I just think this is just too interesting. It almost drinks like you mixed a whiskey and a stout. I mean, that is the vibes it's giving me. There's so much stout that comes off of this. So much grain, so much like that, like a Guinness or a stout. You got that like roasted barley on it. This is like roasted barley to me. Anyway, drinking buddies, I thought this would be a little fun thing to do since we're into the, you know, the dead cold of winter now, and these are some fun offerings you might be able to try for winter. Like I said, I have no idea how limited these two are, but this is something you can find. And you know, I'm kind of a theme guy. If I see something on a shelf and I'm like, ooh, that's kind of Christmassy and it's coming up on Christmas, I'll probably buy it. So I don't know if that's the way you are, but if I would have seen this Magi in a store, I would have bought it just purely off the label because, you know, I would have been like, Christmas, let's go. Anyway, drinking buddies, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you. Every time you guys like the video, every time you guys subscribe, you're making this thing possible. So do me a favor, if you're not a subscriber, subscribe. I will see my subscriber count go up and you will make my day. Cheers. Thanks for watching.